Alright, what's up guys? Thought I'd do a quick update video to bring you guys up to speed with where we're at, what's going on, because it's been one of those things and you're building race cars and doing shit that other people haven't done before, where you run into some roadblocks or speed bumps or things just fuck your shit up and create delays, and that's what's happened. So I thought I'd quickly bring you up to speed. So last time we're doing anything major on the car, and you'll probably be seeing some footage of that now. Had the engine here at the workshop, bolting the clutch to it, getting everything ready, tizzying up the gearbox, new pivot balls and forks and bearings and all kinds of shit, getting ready to put all of that together and make it one thing, as in engine, clutch, box, all together done. And it was about this time that, as you'll be seeing now, when it was time for the gearbox to actually be mated to the back of the motor, that picked it up and realised, holy shit, this is not going to bolt up. It's not the right one for this engine. Now, fuck my word. The reason I had this box and chose this box is because I was told by more than one person that it would bolt up to my motor and that would not be an issue. That was wrong. I'm not pointing the finger or blaming anyone, because as it turns out, there are a lot of people who still, to this day, don't actually know or can't give you an answer as to whether that should have or not, or fucking whatever. But basically, the box I had was a 6-speed manual BMW gearbox factory thing. The only reason mine didn't go onto this motor is because I have the diesel one, which I did sort of specifically get because apparently they're either a little bit gruntier or I had better ratios or something. Got it from overseas, and as it turns out, the engines, the diesel motors that they're bolted to, have a different bell housing bolt pattern to the petrol motor, my N54, which means that it didn't fucking bolt up, didn't work. That's shite, because it's been sitting around for a long time just assuming that it was all going to work, and I probably should have tried it, but I didn't, and here we are. So that box isn't an option to bolt to my motor without some sort of, I'd be cut and shutting bell housings or using adapter plates or whatever, which all started to concern me in terms of time. Time's been the biggest issue with this car now for quite a while. To be honest, I was hoping I'm probably 6 months behind where I really would have liked to have been. Time's been really against me, so as soon as I realised that finding the right box, which would be basically the same box I've got but in a petrol version, which would have a different bell housing, finding that is going to be challenging. There aren't many petrol 6-cylinder manual Beamers that in Australia that I would need the box of, and the ones that there are still have their boxes attached to them because they're a really good box. They don't break. There's no need for any of them to not be still in the cars unless it's been wrecked or something. So there's fuck all of them, which was not good for me. And it also meant that even if I could find one, it was going to be expensive. And I'm talking like, 4 or 5 grand on top of kind of that I already had with this box sitting here that now doesn't work, on top of a couple grand's worth of clutch. It was, it was all, again, it is what it is, building a race car. But both time and money wise, I was now starting to doubt whether that was actually the best way to go. A couple of days later, talking to a mate of mine, just planted the seed and threw an idea out there. And in some ways, it's actually coming back almost full circle to where I was originally potentially going to go with this car. But based on availability of parts and costs and rah-de-rah, we've changed direction and we're doing something a little bit different, a little bit funky. Not that this car wasn't different enough already, but we're going even more different again. What we've decided to do is run a automatic 8 HP, ZF 8 HP transmission that can be set up to run essentially like basically in manual. Now, most of you would have some sort of understanding of this already. There's even someone in SA, Simon, who is running a DCT version in his Sprinter, which is basically what this is, and the DCT was actually what I was potentially going to do initially with this car. Due to people like him having a really rough time with getting it to work really well, which is obviously not anything he's doing, but this is the companies who make the controllers for these things leave a lot to be desired, let's just put it that way. And so there's a lot of bugs and a lot of dramas with them. That was what steered me away from doing it. I just don't have the time and money and the interest in those kind of head fucks. Which is why I ended up just going back to manual. Anyway, that obviously isn't going to work now, like I've just said. So what's even more, I guess, new or recent than these DCT setups is using, like I said, an actual automatic. So these 8HPs that have actually been used in a whole bunch of different cars, they come in Jeeps, they come in, I think Fords use them, they come in a lot of Beamers, they come in stacks of cars use this, basically this same trans, but obviously small variations in terms of bolt-up patterns and rah-de-rah, depending on what they're behind. But they're a really good transmission. They've been used a lot for these kind of applications now as well. Guys overseas, in particular, Europe and stuff, have started doing this shit with them, what I'm about to do now, with a lot of success. They hold a lot of grunt. They're a really good box. So being that they're an actual straight up auto, they're a little bit more simplified than the DCTs. The DCT's got a lot going on inside them. They're pretty complicated, which I think is part of the issues. They're killer, but they come with some issues. The auto's a little bit more straightforward. Plus, by me going the 8HP auto, it gives me another option in terms of the brand of controller that I am able to use, because there's another company who do one who's sort of specifically targeting the 8HP stuff rather than all the DCT, and their unit, based on just what I've seen from their Facebook groups and customer base and stuff, seems to be a bit more user-friendly, reliable, etc., etc. That's Turbo Lamik here. Inside here is the little unit that I'm talking about to control the trans. Basically, what you do, you bolt it up just like an auto. You have a special controller that allows you to do all of the things, and then you run a clutch pedal that is, for all intents and purposes, a normal clutch pedal in a normal car, except it's not running a hydraulic, piston, master cylinder, slave cylinder, hydraulic line that then operates an actual mechanical fork or whatever. It's basically just a switch. It's set up electronically, like an electronic throttle in some cars works. So you set the clutch up to operate kind of just off a switch, which cuts line pressure in the box and essentially puts it into like neutral momentarily. That's how you get your clutch sort of operation. And then for a shifter, obviously there's no mechanical, physical shifting of gears. It's all done electronically. So you use a shifter that you would normally find on like a sim rig setup. Again, electronic, it just basically works like a switch. So you find a good sequential shifter for a sim rig, you mount that in the car, that becomes your shifter. And essentially it does all of the things a manual would do with the optional, with the clutch being optional. Which is no different to normal sequential setup in race cars where you bang through the gears without using the clutch. Clutch is there though if you need it. The difference being that those cars still actually run a physical clutch, whereas this is not going to. So that's where we're at. That's what I'm going to do. I've got all of the stuff, all of the parts. The trans is here. I was able to... So one of the appealing things about going down this path was there are these 8HPs, the early ones, that bolt straight up to my motor without any adapters or anything. And they're relatively cheap. So I've got one of them. I'm now going to try and sell the other box, the manual box that I had, because whilst it doesn't work for me in this application, it's still a really good box that lots of guys use in conversions behind a lot of other motors. So I'm going to try and sell it in, targeted at that sort of thing, behind a J or an RB or something. I now have a clutch that I don't need, which I'm going to on sell as well, which is brand new, but it is what it is. But between those two things, hopefully when I sell them and get some money back, it should actually cover the total cost of everything required to go down this path. The difference being that I will, when this is set up and as long as it works, I'll have an 8-speed sequential gearbox, which is going to be pretty cool. Bit weird, but pretty cool. But anyway, everything's here. So over the last couple of weeks, not a lot's been going on because I've been organising all of that and finding the parts and then getting them here. I've come from interstate and the controller things come from overseas and all of the shit. But anyway, we're here now. We've got the trans, got the controller, we've got all of the things that we need. So now the box can be bolted to the motor. Those can then be sat in the car so that we can get it mounted so that we can start moving forward and getting back on track. So in the next couple of days, that's what's going to happen. We're going to put them together and we're going to mount them. We're going to, sit them in the car so that then mounts can be measured up and made, which is just like any other, engine conversion in a car. But once that's sitting in, then it's, open season in terms of smashing out the work and getting shit done. Wiring can then be full steam ahead to getting the whole car wired up. Things can get mounted, all the electronics and stuff. Things can be made for the motor, lines, and, even some plumbing and stuff can be started once that's all in. We've got everything, all the parts. So from here on in, it should start to come together much, much quicker because it's just a matter of just bolting all the parts in, really. There's still a few things that we're going to kind of have to make and, work out along the way. But fingers crossed, all the delays and head fucks are behind us now. And from here on in, shit gets much more exciting, much quicker, all of the rest. But like I said, the last couple of weeks has been fuck all going on. That's partially my fault. I had 4 wisdom teeth out a week and a half ago, which sucked balls. So I've not been doing much. There's been people unwell. There's just been, guys at the workshop have had heaps of other shit going on. So just delays everywhere, and it is what it is. But we're here now. Thought I would do a quick video to bring you up to speed because not much has been going on, but a lot's been going on at the same time with these changes, and it's a bit scary but pretty exciting at the same time. Going to be sort of pioneering this here, just like a lot of other things with this car, but just because it needed, one more thing to be different. It's now going to be auto. But anyway, that's where we're at. I think that's pretty much all I needed to tell you. Hopefully, like I said, everything will start coming along. There'll be another video not long after this, maybe next week or something, that'll have an engine sitting in the car and fucking, things will really start to get exciting. Big ass truck going past. And then hopefully we just get cracking and smash the thing out, and she gets done, because I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. This car's going to be really fucking cool. There's a few other companies and brands and stuff that I'm going to try and work with more on this car, just because of the uniqueness of it. But anyway, cross those bridges when we get to it, and I'll fill you in then. But that's where we're at. So complete change of direction in terms of gearbox, transmissions, all of the things. Doing something new, but also not new. It's been done elsewhere. So fingers crossed we can make it work. But basically the important bit is that it's all going to be mounted this week. And once it's sitting in place, then it's full steam ahead. Hopefully next time you see me after watching this one, obviously, there'll be some really cool shit going on, and it goes from there. thanks for watching. If you are watching, sorry I've talked some more shit again, but that's it. I'll leave it there. Thanks for being interested, and hopefully there's way more cool shit going on real soon. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys then. Slater.